Welcome to All Clear, the podcast that takes you beyond the rails. Brought to you by the team at Australian Jumping, this podcast dives into the stories, the people, and the horses shaping our sport. Whether you're a seasoned competitor or simply love the thrill of the clear round, All Clear delivers the conversations that matter. Hit subscribe and join us for a fresh perspective on the sport you love. I'm delighted to welcome Maleah Lang McMahon from Ocala in Florida. Welcome, Maleah.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Maleah, can you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your background in the sport?
I started jumping when I was I started riding when I was 3 or 4. Actually first sat on my pony when I was like a newborn, and I really started riding ever since then, and went to pony club, and both my parents, my mom went to 2 world championships and a World Cup final, and my dad went to world championships and an Olympics. So I guess I was born and bred into jumping.
So you've been in Ocala, Florida now for about 4 years. Can you talk us through what led you to making the move over there?
Actually, my mom at the time had a really nice 6-year-old. We were in COVID, so nothing was happening. And one day we walked into the house and my dad had booked my mom's horse and mine too on the plane. And it was just a surprise to the both of us. We were like, okay, we'll happily go. So yeah, then we moved and it was great. At the time, we were only supposed to come for 3 months and the horses were booked to go back home. And we came in December and they were supposed to go home in March. And I went home thinking we were going home, and then we ended up staying. We cancelled the flight, bought a farm, and we ended up staying.
That's a big decision to make. How did you feel about the fact that your dad and your sisters were going to be staying back in Australia?
I guess it's not as hard because I go home at my own leisure and go and see them, and it's really good with FaceTime, like WhatsApp, call them all the time. They send videos. So it's really not that hard. I guess at the start it was hard, like the first 6 months I was really homesick, but yeah, I don't know. I just became used to it and this feels like home now.
So what would you say that some of the biggest adjustments are that you've had to make since your move to the US, both in and out of the saddle?
In the saddle, it was probably the easiest adjustment because it's completely different to being at home, but it's so easy. Everything's so close. Like the tack stores are close, the show's close, everything's within arm's reach. But I think the biggest change, I'm a foodie, so the biggest change for me was the food. I really don't enjoy the food here. I think it's disgusting. But yeah, for me, that was the biggest challenge. Everything is fast food. Everything's a food chain. Like, you can't just go get, like, nice, healthy, clean food or go eat at a nice restaurant. Things like that. It's just not the same. Everything is like, if you eat at a certain place here, there's 1-2 hours away with the exact same menu, the exact same food. It's just, like, very business oriented with how they do everything.
So let's talk about the competition culture in the US compared to in Australia. What differences have you noticed?
It's pretty incredible. I mean, I feel like I'm amongst the best riders week in and week out, like pretty much every week of the year. So for that, to come over from Australia and have a lot of success there, then to come here in the first 3 months, I think I won once. That was hard for me to adjust because I couldn't go fast enough. I seriously was lucky to get 4th, and thought I did as fast as I could, but that was probably the biggest thing for me is how fast they actually go. It's a whole different league of what I was ever used to. And the time allowed in the first round is so tight. I think the first day I rode, I got 3 time faults. I was like, I thought I was flying. I learnt really quick after the first day that I didn't want to get time faults anymore, so I had to treat everything like it was, for me, a speed class. I had to get used to going forward in a bigger ring with bigger distances, and yeah, I had to change something. I wasn't going to have time faults again.
So can you tell us a little bit about the horses that you're riding at the moment?
Yes, I have right now 2 homebreds. One is an 8-year-old that we bred. I broke her in myself, and I've had her jumping since she was 4. We flew her over in 2023, and she's just stepped up to her first 145. She won the classic last week, and she was second this week again. So she's really stepping up to the plate. I really, really love her a lot. And then I have a 7-year-old that we also bred. He's out of my dad's Olympic mare. He just did his first 140s, so he's really ahead of what he's supposed to be doing, and he's doing great. And I have a 9-year-old Applebee, which I bought at the end of 2023 in Europe. I actually went for an auction just to watch. Mom and I went over, and a friend of mine, and our plane got cancelled, so we decided to get another plane, which had us landing in a different place. We had to drive 3 hours, and our bags didn't arrive. So Mom ended up flying home the next day because she couldn't survive without clothes. And I ended up buying breeches and going and trialing horses without Mom's consent. And I found Apple, and yeah, I fell in love with her and had to have her. So she did her first under 25 last week, and she was 4th. She jumped amazing, so I think she's really special. And then I have Central Park, who we bought at the end of last year. He was ridden by Morris Beatson from New Zealand. They were staying with us, and he did the 4-Star Nations Cup in Wellington, and they wanted to sell him, and I started riding him because they went home for the summer. And yeah, he was amazing, and he jumped my first ever 2-star Grand Prix last week, and he was 3rd. So he was completely not planned purchase, but yeah, he's pretty special.
So has that been the highlight of your competition since you arrived?
It definitely has. The highlight of my career was definitely last weekend in the 2-star Grand Prix. I went in with no expectation whatsoever to jump a clear round, so that was just the biggest reward, I think.
So other than the food back in Australia, is there anything else that you're missing?
Yeah, actually, to show at home is, I don't know, it's very comforting for me. Like to go home, pack the truck, go to the show, stay in the truck. That is what I love and what I'm used to. You wake up, go out, feed the horses, you go back in the truck. That is one thing I really do miss. I wish that we had that here because you don't have trucks and trailers that you stay in. You have to stay in a hotel everywhere you go. Or like here, work is like 5 minutes away, you stay at home. So it's never like, it never feels like what I grew up knowing and doing. So it doesn't feel the same.
So you feel like you are missing some of the community aspect of staying on site at a show with people?
I think so. Yeah, because coming here, I didn't know anybody. Like, they're like, oh, this person, this person, this person. I'm like, I have no idea. And their big thing is hunters and equitation. So they ramble off names that I've never heard of, and I should know. I feel like I should know, but I have no idea. And still, I don't know that many people. I know plenty of people, but still not as many as I know at home, where, when you're at home, there's a community and everybody knows each other. It's a lot closer knit than I think it is here.
So are there any big challenges that you've encountered on your journey so far?
I had a mare over here, Lily, we bought from Melbourne, and she had to have colic surgery. And that really, then I had only one horse at the time. So I was struggling then because wanted to ride, but she was really my only one that I had. So that mentally, just to keep pushing and thinking positive, was pretty hard, I guess, because I go to the show, I want to jump, I want to ride, but yeah, I just had to be patient, and I have a nice team of horses.
So what advice would you give other Australian young riders that are thinking of competing overseas?
Definitely work hard because hard work doesn't go unnoticed. Yeah, dream big and I don't know, keep working hard because it gets you a lot of places.
And talking about places, what's it like competing at the World Equestrian Centre?
You drive in and it's like Disneyland for horses. It is so overwhelming. The buildings are huge. You walk in, there's air-conditioned stalls all the way around. You don't have to go outside to be in the air conditioning. It's out of this world. They have everything you can think of.
That sounds fantastic. And we have a tradition on this podcast where each guest leaves a question for the next guest, not knowing who that guest is going to be. And your question is from Rowan Willis, and he would like to know what you would like to get out of the sport in the long term.
Well, my long term, if that relates to goals, I really, really would like to go to the Olympics. That is my biggest dream and one thing I want to tick off.
That's a fantastic dream, Maleah, and one that I am sure you will achieve one day. So now it's time for you to ask the next guest your question.
My question would be, if you could ride one horse in the world, who would it be?
Well, I look forward to hearing that answer. Thank you so much for your time today, Maleah. It's been really lovely catching up with you. And I wish you all the best for the immediate future. And hopefully we'll get you back on the podcast sometime in the future.